then that took us into another multi-man match where it was Clark Connors who was representing the NJPW against the bastard Pac, formerly known as Level,
Yeah.
versus Malachi Black versus Miro in a fatal four-way to determine the first ever AEW All-Atlantic Champion.
Yeah. What was your first impressions of this match, mate?
Well, I liked the idea that they were doing a four-way for a new title. Do I think they need a new title? Probably not.
Nah, they've got enough belts, but Tony Khan's paying for it, so
yeah, like Tony Khan's gonna like throw money into it.
Yeah.
Tony Khan has no money. But as I said, like this was a good match. I never saw I didn't see anything from Clark Connors before. So
I didn't even know who he was. I had no idea when he walked out, and that's probably my ignorance because I don't watch New Japan at the moment. I need to start watching some of this stuff. But I don't know who the hell Clark Connors was. I had no idea when he came out. I said, "Who was this guy?"
That was my same reaction. But
he did a great job.
Oh no, the crowd loved him.
Yeah.
Then obviously we've seen bits and pieces from Park, Malachi Black, and Miro from WWE in that.
Yeah, obviously. Look, Miro is a guy that should be at the moment in any promotion should be the number one or number two heel / monster.
Yeah.
Going around. I don't think he's getting used very well at AEW, and I don't think he got really very well used at WWE. I think they opened him up when they were calling him a Russian and bringing him out as a Russian. They gave him a big push, but I think the end of the run at WWE was pretty shit, mixing in with the United Nations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think this time around with AEW, they haven't really loved him. You've got a guy he just looks, mate.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a heel's head, right?
Yeah, he does.
And for his size, he just stomps people, smashes people, that kind of thing. Malachi Black, or as we've nicknamed him in the household, Malaka Black. Right. I don't get it. I don't. There's nothing I see. There's nothing I see there. Even with that WWE, there's nothing I see there. There's nothing that when I watch him, I go, I've got to watch this guy.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. And Neville for me is the same too. Nothing. There's nothing I see him. You know, what? He's flashy.
Oh, yeah.
Even Malaka Black, he is flashy.
Yeah.
Right? But there's nothing there I say that is going to be like, well, this guy, I really want to watch him. You know, once again, I sort of groaned. I've gone, oh, fuck. Yeah. Right, when you know, it was a good match. I still don't think as good as the first two matches. Clark Connors, I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah,
I'd like to see more of him. Yeah, I'd like to see more of him. And Miro, I want to see Miro at the top end of the card. Why isn't Miro giving, you know, Moxley issues? At that level, you know, like, you know, at the top end, you know, level, you know, instead of, you know, being in a four-way, they should have put the belt on him. He should have been the guy who got the belt. Obviously, Pac, for me, Pac is, unless they're meaning to have that belt as the lighter guys, for all the lighter guys.
Yeah.
You know, the Atlantic belt.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, fair enough. But as a champion in that scene, I don't see him. You know, I could see Miro versus Punk. I could see Miro versus Moxley. I could see Miro versus Danielson. I could see Miro in that, you know, drawing. Like if they said, Miro versus, I'd go, this is a guy's worth watching, you know. What do you think, mate?
Look, I thought it was a good match. Like, obviously, like, didn't need the tables and that they brought out. Probably not.
No, and that's a sign of a match that was stalling.
Yeah.
You know? And then once again, Malaka Black brought them out.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I don't really, you know.
Like, I don't think every fatal four-way or any type of multi-man matches needs the tables.
No, not at all.
Or anything for that matter. Like, they could have had a fatal four-way where it's just who was a better technical wrestler. But in saying that, I did, like, as I said, I think I've definitely got something. Yep.
That reminds me when you say that. that reminds me of the X Division. Remember the X Division at TNA, the original X Division?
Oh yeah,
When it was just all about wrestling.
yeah,
It wasn't so much about, cages and stuff like that, you have four of those, those guys like Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, that kind of thing in the ring,
yeah.
and they would just put on these matches, mate, that were just blind as move technique for technique, and I think somehow they've digressed to being now we need the tables, ladders, chairs in with the four guys. I think WWE is probably guilty of that. This match, a little bit, there was some chairs, but not as bad as what the WWE would put.
No.
WWE, there would have been ladders, chairs, gas axes in there at this point. The tire shredding machine, whatever they could get their hands on.
Just whatever's happens really weird by the day.
That's it.
But as I said, I think I said this the other night, where the one thing that annoys me about no DQ matches, and that is the constant need for the table, the fans cheering for the table, we want tables, and I honestly blame the Dudley Boys for that.
Oh, look! It all. I also said this in other programs. It all stems back from that '90s style.
Yeah.
That it started becoming a hot shot style. Let's hot shot every match. And then once you elevate something up to a certain point, then you need to sort of try and elevate it to the next, to the next, to the next. If you start a card off, let's say they started this card off in the trios match, 6-man tag, right? And they started that off with tables, ladders, and chairs as well. Or Jericho threw the wizard fire in the guy's face and won it that way. Every other match behind now needs to try and do something to top that. They didn't do it. This was just the first match was really, really good wrestling. Right? It was a gimmick match because it's a trios, but it was a really, really good wrestling. The second match, once again, it was really, really good wrestling. There was a table used in that. I think one of the boys went through a table in that one.
Yeah.
On the side, right? Then what happens because that table was used, the next guys want to use 2 or 3 tables because these guys here have used a table. You better keep in most of your matches of your card really good wrestling, and maybe the severity of the wrestling to be more, so say at the end of it, maybe a bigger finisher, bang, and they're carrying the guy out, using more of that, because what you end up doing, you just hot shot matches, But I think that getting back onto this particular match with Connors, Pac, Black, and Miro, it was a good, solid match. It really was. Yeah, definitely. Wasn't my favourite match of the night, by all means, but I gave it a 6 out of 10. What about you?
I went the same way. I gave it a 6 too, because I must say this before we move on to the next match, I definitely see somebody like Clark Connors.
He's a little on the small side.
Yeah,
a little bit of weights and that kind of thing, but definitely there's something about him. Once again, it all depends on how he's booked and how he gets pushed and what they do with him. So yeah,
but they've definitely got somebody there. I will say
definitely.
that.
Yeah, definitely.